Now this, you guys, is what they would call a shock collar in the pen. A guy like this on drugs, chasing drugs. That's the misconception. Won't be able to make it on the street because he's 5150, but in prison, thriving. That's a damn shame, man. Stay the hell out of prison. What's up, everybody? Big Herc getting down fresh out, and you tune into another edition of Prison Talk. I want to say thank you for everybody who subscribed, who supported. Today I happened to be driving down the street, and I seen this homeless guy, tweak the F out, tatted up, doing this thing on the sidewalk over here. And, I did a Instagram post on Big Herc 916, and I said, hey, this is the kind of guy who's a shot caller in the pen. And a lot of people were like kind of blown away by the comment and said, what do you mean by shot caller in the pen? And I tell people, man, you don't ever want to go to prison. But what I mean by being a shot caller is this guy on the street is extremely addicted to drugs. He's smoked out of his mind or tweaked out of his mind, whatever he's doing. He gets to prison, he cleans up. He's still a drug addict because he hasn't decided to stop doing drugs. And now, because he's been so mentally prepped for how to acquire drugs on the street. I mean, smokers are some of the most ingenious people you'd meet. I mean, people who get high on drugs. I've met some tweakers, man. Oh my God, they can come up with all kind of stuff, but they're very MacGyver-like when it comes to getting drugs. So you put this guy in prison, and he uses that same intelligence to get high in prison. And as he gets involved in the drug trade, he becomes a prominent person in whatever car he's in, and he eventually becomes a shot caller. But his whole goal is to get drugs, to get high, to supply his habit, and to supply whoever else's habit is in his clique. Drugs run prison. And bottom line, I mean, I've seen some guys who are very, physically, imposing, sharp guys, but they're drug addicts, man. My mentor, he was a heroin addict. So there's some people who are very smart in prison who are on drugs. And, it's a sad situation, man. And, it's one of the biggest problems in prison, and why a lot of people don't really move forward in life. But like, you got to come to that awakening yourself. I can't tell a person to stop using drugs or, not to use drugs. I mean, prison is one of the most depressed places you could ever be. So drugs naturally goes hand in hand with the environment. But on the flip side of that, drug addicts being some of the smartest people I've interacted with, I've seen people who were hooked on drugs that changed their life and became highly successful. And we've had some people on our show that, were drug users that changed their lives, that have just blown up. And they applied that same mentality that they use to acquire drugs, to get high, to manipulate people. They've applied it in a positive way to go to school, to educate themselves, to get a job, and now have become just high functioning, productive individuals. And, it's taking them to a whole nother level. And in a way, I mean, not being a drug addict myself, but I got an addictive personality where once I put my mind to something, it's almost like I can't get it out of my head. So I just think about it, obsessively, and it pushes me to do things. And it's gotten me in trouble before, with certain criminal activity. But the thing is, in a time like this, if you have that type of personality where you're addicted, you got an addictive personality, and you like to, you do certain things, this would be the perfect opportunity for that person who maybe was hooked on drugs, or maybe you were hooked on watching porn, whatever the case may be. You apply that same tenacity to maybe writing a script, maybe building a website, maybe going out to your garage, and if you have, a wood, wood carvings, carving wood, designing graphics, writing songs, whatever it is, you know, it would be the perfect opportunity. You know, a lot of people always ask me, you know, how to, you know, become entrepreneurs or business people. And it's like, you got to really, you know, want it, man, and put the time into it. And a lot of you guys hadn't had the time before, but you got the time now. And the same thing like that guy on the street. I drove by that drug addict who was out there tweaked the hell out. I mean, he done built him a little fortress on the corner. And, you know, he's ranting and raving, and, you know, he was putting on the little shows for people at certain times of the day. I mean, dude, you know, I know mentally he's, you know, he's probably got some issues, you know, mentally from using all the drug use, or maybe even before he had the drug use. But if you can take that energy, which a lot of people have, that you used to put into getting high or to doing things of a negative nature, into something productive, you could run a corporation, man. You can become a multimillionaire. You can take your family and move them to a beautiful neighborhood. You could do a lot of things that would change your life for the better. And you know, whenever I think about the time and effort I used to put into plotting and planning, or you know, hanging out with the homies, I think about like, well, man, I wish I would have put that into something else more productive. So I say that to say that you guys out there, you have been misdirecting your energy, and now would be a great time to redirect that energy and to become more focused. So, you know, take the time right now, man, to come out of this being more productive, more successful, and to pursue your dreams. You know, this is Big Herc with Prison Talk.